Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from the New York State Chess Championship 2016. Played in Albany, New York over the Labor Day weekend. This is my round 5 game. To recap a little bit, I won the first round, lost the next two. In fact, one game, round 3, was so bad that I didn't keep the score sheet. I tore it up and threw it in the garbage in the playing hall. And you saw another game that I played, and I was really under the gun and managed to pull it off. This is the round 5 game. There's 6 rounds in the tournament. Let's get to it. I'm white. At the time, I was rated 1464. And my opponent is, I can't pronounce his name too well here. Let's give it a shot. Schnitzler-Rd.5. Something like that. Let's get to it. It's going to be, now I'm thinking to myself here, okay, I did more preparation than I normally do for a tournament. There's some people that meet back in my chess center behind my convenience store on Thursday nights, and we've been working on some stuff. I've been working on some white against the French, and I've also been working on white against Sicilian, who I hate to go against. What I decided to do was I've really been studying on the closed Sicilian, which is knight c3. Knight c6. g3. Kind of playing it in a weird way, like a King's Indian attack. You're going to see g6, bishop, bishop. And what I decided to do was not go knight f3 or d3, or even go knight on g to e2. I decided to go f4. Now the computer didn't like it a lot. It didn't hate it, but it didn't like it. And I like this setup, and you're going to see. e6, now knight f3, d6, d3. He brings his another knight out because he wants this bishop to keep his power here. Bishop d3 is probably a move here. I decided to castle instead. He castled, then I went bishop e3. Went out a little bit out of the move order. Now this is kind of the position I was looking for. Later down the road, in a lot of games like this, you'll see knight here, pawn up, knight comes over here. It gets quite crazy. It's kind of a weird, I guess you call it a King's Indian, but reversed. So he develops his bishop, rook to b1, pawn, queen to d2. Alright, we're on move 11. We got a position here. I'm not too worried about bishop takes, pawn takes. That would really have a stranglehold on this square. Plus his dark squares around his king would become incredibly weak. Knight d4. Now I have to be very careful, of course. You can't play knight takes, because pawn takes force both of these pieces. So I decided to follow my plan, go knight d2. He moves the other knight up. Okay. So let's just kick the knight. I'm thinking to myself, well, it blunts his bishop and puts the question to the knight on d4. He takes. I take. He goes queen c7. I thought I had a pretty good position. The computer shows it about even. I mean, I'm fine. Everything's developed. I've got a pretty good amount of space. I control a lot of the center. And I sat here for a while and thought to myself, you know what? You have been doing well in this tournament. Let's just go for it. And I went g4. My plan was pawn here and get something going against his king. He went f5. And I decided, well, just going to keep it here. Going to keep my space on the king side. And I went g5. We go back here a minute. Computer likes g5 as well. Knight g5 it likes, which might have been worth considering. In h3. just in case he takes, I take. King can come up, and these rooks can now come this way. But I went g5 instead, locked it up a little bit. I probably shouldn't have done that. He went b5. I went knight to d2. You know, I probably shouldn't have done that. There's a lot of things I probably should have done. E takes f. e5, I think, was also reasonable. But I went knight to d2. Not a terrible move, but not a great one either. If I had gone e5 instead, rook over, it's still even. But after knight to d2, he decides to go a4. What to do, what to do? I probably should have just gone a3. Just to stop a lot of the nonsense. I went c4 instead. Computer didn't like it. It didn't really hate it either. It just thought it was a fair move at best. He went b4. I tried to go queen f2. Now if he pushes here, I'll just lock it up. If he pushes this way, I'll just lock it up. Or I could even take. Knight takes. I'm not sure. There's a lot of different things I could have done. He went knight to d4. What to do? What to do? E takes f, I think, is reasonable. And that's what I did, but computer likes e5 better. Knight f3. Rook b to e1, believe it or not. I decided to take. He took back with the knight. Now, I was thinking earlier in the game, I need to move my king. I need to get him off this diagonal. So guess what happens? Knight to f3 is the best move. I played bishop takes rook. He plays knight takes. Now, I was just coming back to the table after walking around a little bit when he played knight takes. I didn't even sit down. I barely sat down in the chair when I played queen takes. And believe it or not, that's the best move, and that's what I did. And he immediately went bishop d4, pinning my queen. And that's where I resigned. I was so, excuse my expression, I was so pissed. But it's not really the end of the world. Because later the computer showed that if I play queen takes, pawn takes, bishop g2, I'm still down a lot. But I could have fought on. And I didn't. So I was concentrating so hard. Let's go back here. E takes. Here was my problem. We'll go all the way back to queen to f2. When he went knight d4, I should have just put my knight on f3 and I'm fine. I still have a good position. Decent attacking chances on the h-file. But I've been eyeballing this take here with a discovery against the rook that I couldn't get the temptation away. I had to do it. And as you see the rest of the game here, that's the end. So anyway, folks, I'm trying to figure out a lesson from this. I was so fixated on that bishop taking the rook that I didn't see the rest. And it's really a shame too, because this is a decent game. So at this point, I resigned, shook the gentleman's hand, and there was one round left, round 6. There really was no point in continuing. I couldn't have been any of the prize money or even close to the top half. So I withdrew and went home. And that's the way it goes sometimes. Now, I'd have to say last year, I played the New York State Championship in 2015, and I was 4.5 out of 5. I had to withdraw in the 6th round. But I thought maybe I could at least get 500 out of this. It was disappointing, to say the least. But that's the way it goes. So there you have it, folks. The last game I'm going to show from my New York State Championship games in 2016. I hope you enjoyed it. More importantly, I hope you learned something. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.